From age 12 to 30, we enter a vast silence in the Bible about Jesus. Imagine the teen years and early adulthood of someone who would change the world, filled with family experiences, personal struggles, and spiritual growth. No miracles, no journeys, just a 20-year void. But what if this silence isn't absence at all? What if crucial chapters were deliberately erased, leaving behind a mystery that might reshape our understanding of Christ? What story lies hidden, waiting to be uncovered? At the age of 12, we catch a glimpse of Jesus, the boy who astonished the elders in the temple with his wisdom and insight. It's a moment that paints him as a prodigy. Yet after this remarkable encounter, the Bible falls silent. For nearly 2 decades, the trail goes cold. Imagine stepping into those shoes. 1 minute, you're the center of attention, a beacon of knowledge. The next, you're shrouded in mystery. This period of silence isn't mere absence. It's a sacred initiation. Ancient texts suggest that Jesus may have ventured far beyond Judea, driven by an insatiable hunger for wisdom that transcended cultural boundaries. Picture him roaming the deserts of Egypt, engaging with mystics in India, or learning from wise sages in Persia. These journeys hint at a conscious search for truth, a desire to understand the profound mysteries of existence. As we reflect on these texts, we realize that Jesus' youth wasn't just a pause, but preparation. Accessing knowledge the world wasn't ready to grasp, he was transforming on a path that would one day awaken the hearts of millions. This is a journey we all long for, to discover our purpose, seek the truth, and embrace the silence that often speaks louder than words. As we dive into the lost records of Jesus, we find ourselves peering into a world that feels deeply personal and remarkably human. Imagine a young Jesus, not just the figure we encounter in the Bible, but a curious seeker exploring profound truths. The Gospel of Thomas presents vibrant snapshots of his teachings, filled with wisdom that speaks to our own spiritual journeys. Meanwhile, the Infancy Gospel reveals stories of his youth, extraordinary moments where he performs miraculous acts and displays insight far beyond his years. These fragments, notably from the Nag Hammadi library, invite us to consider a Jesus who was both divine and deeply relatable. Yet there's a shadow looming over these texts. Early church leaders deemed them heretical, not because they lacked merit, but because they threatened the tightly controlled narrative of Christ as the unequivocal Savior. They feared that this portrayal of Jesus as a seeker would empower individuals to chart their own spiritual paths, potentially unraveling the established order that sought to dictate belief and orthodoxy. In this tension lies a powerful truth. The journey of faith is often as important as the destination. As we ponder these hidden years, we might find reflections of our own struggles and quests for meaning, encouraging us to embrace our own search for understanding, just as he did. The 19th century was a time of exploration and discovery, where the world's hidden corners revealed secrets just waiting to be uncovered. Among those captivated by the allure of the unknown was Nicholas Notovich, a Russian traveler whose adventures would take him high into the Tibetan mountains. It was here, in a remote monastery, that he stumbled upon ancient scrolls, texts that would ignite a speculation that continues to this day. These texts spoke of a figure named Isa, described as a Western sage who ventured beyond his homeland to immerse himself in the teachings of Buddhism. Picture this: a young man, perhaps resembling the Jesus we know, surrounded by monks and the serene landscape of the Himalayas, absorbing wisdom unlike anything he had encountered back home. According to Notovich's writings, Isa didn't just soak in knowledge, he actively participated in the spiritual life around him, preaching love, compassion, and healing those who were suffering. This concept invites us to ponder. Could Isa be a glimpse of the Jesus we recognize from the biblical narrative? The one who walked on water, challenged the status quo, and preached to the downtrodden? Scholars have long debated the credibility of Notovich's claims, with some dismissing them as fanciful fabrications. Yet, the oral traditions that persist in Ladakh and Kashmir add a layer of intrigue. Local stories of the prophet from the West persist, suggesting a connection that transcends time and space. Imagine the villagers sharing tales of a healer passing through their lands, someone who spoke of kindness and understanding, a figure who, even centuries later, still resonates in their cultural memory. This tale of Isa, whether seen as historical fact or myth, reveals the deep interconnectivity of spiritual traditions and the shared values of compassion that unite us all. As we delve deeper into how these narratives have shaped views on spirituality and humanity, it's essential to reflect on how such stories resonate within our own lives. They invite us to seek understanding and compassion in our own journeys. The Egyptian mystery schools represent a beacon of enlightenment, a place where the deep secrets of existence were not shrouded in secrecy, but rather illuminated for those destined to understand. Picture this: an ancient, labyrinthine temple nestled amidst the golden sands of the desert, the air heavy with incense and whispers of wisdom. Here, the Essenes, a mystical brotherhood devoted to nurturing and safeguarding sacred knowledge, created a sanctuary for initiates. Imagine yourself stepping into this world, where you're not just a passive learner, but a seeker on a profound journey of self-discovery. Your training begins with silence, a test that pushes you to confront not just the external noise of the world, but the turbulent chaos within. This isn't just about refraining from speaking. It's about tuning into the subtleties of energy surrounding you, heightening your senses, and delving into a conversation with your own soul. Fasting follows, a physical trial that strips away distractions. As hunger sharpens your focus, you may begin to feel that connection to the divine, resonating through the rhythms of your body. It's in these moments of deprivation that clarity can emerge, revealing profound truths you might not have noticed before. An acute awareness of how energy flows within and around you becomes palpable, echoing the very principles that govern life itself. Could it be that during this sacred training, figures like Jesus walked among the Essenes? The stories suggest he was not just a passive observer passing through, but an active student absorbing the teachings, learning about the secret laws of energy, alchemy, and divine manifestation. These teachings empowered him to perform miracles, to heal, and to inspire. In that temple, every lesson, every challenge shaped the initiates into catalysts for change, capable of altering not just their own destinies, but the fabric of society. So as we reflect on these teachings, it raises a question for us today. What if the path to enlightenment is not just confined to ancient schools, but calls to us in our daily lives, urging us to awaken to our own sacred knowledge? Through our personal trials and dedication, we can access a transformative power that resonates beyond time, echoing the wisdom of ages past. As we delve into the concept of the hidden teachings, those elusive, transformative moments that shaped not just a figure like Jesus, but all of us, we find ourselves confronting the idea that sometimes what remains unspoken or unseen can hold the greatest wisdom. The missing years, often overlooked in traditional narratives, are not just careless gaps in history. They can be viewed through a profoundly symbolic lens, representing the inner journey we all embark upon. Imagine for a moment that this 20-year gap symbolizes the time our souls spend in introspection, a sacred silence where we shed the layers that no longer serve us. In many esoteric traditions, this phase is crucial. It mirrors the alchemical process where the ego must die for the true self to emerge. Just as Jesus vanished from the public eye, perhaps we too must retreat into our own silence, into our own wilderness, before we can emerge fully transformed. Think about this in your own life. How many times have you felt the need to step back, to pause and reflect? This might be during times of significant change or crisis, when the noise of the world felt overwhelming. The truth is, these periods of quietness are not wasted time. They are where we confront our shadows and begin to remember our divine essence. In esoteric teachings, the birth of Christ is not merely a historical event, but a powerful metaphor for awakening. This rebirth isn't just about entering the world anew. It signifies the ignition of a sacred fire within. It's about realizing that the Christ isn't just born in a manger, but is forged in the crucible of transformation. We all have the opportunity to ignite that divine spark within ourselves. Each obstacle we face can serve as fuel, turning our trials into treasures. The path to awakening is lined with moments of shedding, moments when the ego crumbles, allowing our true spirit and purpose to shine through. So, as we reflect on those hidden years, consider this. What parts of you might need to disappear so the essence of who you are can be revealed? Just as Jesus underwent his transformation, we too can find the light hidden within our shadows, guiding us toward our awakening. The idea that Jesus might have studied across cultures, embracing various spiritual traditions to awaken his divine potential, challenges the very foundation of institutionalized religion. Imagine what it would mean for the concept of salvation if it weren't some distant, external gift handed down from a celestial throne, but rather an awakening that lies within each of us. This notion could empower individuals to seek their own paths to enlightenment, and ultimately threaten the hierarchical structures that many churches depend upon to maintain their authority. In the early days of Christianity, leaders realized that to foster a sense of divine authority, Jesus couldn't simply be seen as an enlightened human being. They needed to transform him into a figure that was separate and unattainable, a deity whose divine nature was exclusively for the select few, usually those in power. The erasure of those essential 20 years of Jesus' life wasn't just a simple oversight. It was a calculated move. By omitting the narrative of his personal growth and integration of diverse teachings, they effectively stripped away the relatable aspects of his humanity. There's something deeply resonant about the idea that each of us has the potential to tap into that divine spark within. It begs the question, what if the journey towards spiritual awakening is something we are all capable of? But that can be unsettling for institutions that thrive on the notion that only through them can we achieve salvation. When we see Jesus not just as a deity, but as a human model of personal evolution, we are invited to explore our own spiritual journeys boldly. And therein lies the power and the perceived threat to the established order. It challenges us to look within rather than solely to external authorities. The stakes are high, and that's precisely why the Church chose to hide this revolutionary perspective. As we jump into the echoes of the lost gospel, we find ourselves drawn to the powerful words, "The kingdom of God is within you, and you will do even greater things than these." At first glance, these might sound like mere proclamations of divinity, but consider this. They're hints of a much deeper reality, reflections of a mission that extends beyond mere revelation. In these phrases, we see an invitation rather than an unreachable ideal, an invitation to tap into something greater within ourselves. They reveal a blueprint, showing us how we can embody the principles of love, compassion, and strength that defined his journey. It suggests that the path to greatness isn't exclusive. It's available to all of us, waiting to be unearthed in our daily lives. Now, imagine those lost years, the formative moments that shaped him into who he ultimately became. What if those years hold the missing key to tapping into that potential? In our rush to grasp monumental truths, we often overlook the personal journeys that come before them. The truth is, like him, we too can experience growth through our struggles, our victories, and even our doubts, claiming our unique pathways to power and purpose. Ultimately, it's about letting this inner kingdom flourish, making us capable of transforming our world. At the age of 30, Jesus steps back onto the stage of humanity, transformed from a curious student into a wise master. Gone is the boy who wandered the hillsides. In his place stands a figure radiating profound understanding and compassion. His teachings, rich with the essence of ancient traditions, illuminate the path of nonviolence, awakening, and unity. It's as if he emerges carrying the collective wisdom of the ages, integrating the spiritual insights of the East, the mystical practices of Egyptian alchemy, and the profound prophecies of his Hebrew heritage. His 20 years of silence were not a retreat, but a sacred incubation, a time of deep reflection and preparation. Think about moments in your own life that required silence, those times of stillness where growth happens beneath the surface. Just as a seed must lie buried before it blooms, so too did Jesus cultivate his inner landscape, transforming into the very messenger the world needed. As he speaks, his words resonate, urging us to awaken to our own potential for compassion and connection. This is not just a tale of the past. It's an invitation to each of us to embrace our journey towards unity. When we ponder the mysteries of Jesus' lost years, the real question isn't just about his physical journey. It's about the profound truths he uncovered during that time. It's easy to think of enlightenment as something handed down from on high, a sort of divine gift we either receive or don't. But in reality, enlightenment is an awakening, a revelation earned through personal endeavor. Inside each of us lies a dormant power, a spark waiting to ignite. Just like Jesus, we often need to step into our own silence, that deep inner space where clarity can emerge. In his stillness, he unearthed insights that resonate with our own struggles. It's in this silence that we confront our fears, our doubts, and ultimately, our potential. Imagine what could happen if we dared to enter our own quiet contemplation. In this sanctuary, we can begin to remember the light that's always been there, patiently waiting for us to awaken it. It's not just Jesus' journey. It's a path we all have the chance to walk, leading us to profound transformation. As we reflect on this journey within, it's clear that those 20 missing years were not lost at all. They were simply tucked away in the depths of our own hearts, waiting to be discovered. Like Jesus, we too embark on a path of descent and return, experiencing our own moments of struggle before finding redemption. This wisdom isn't meant for academic study, it's for living. Embrace your own journey. It's in these hidden spaces that true growth unfolds.